Brother and sister veterans, we're here today with Eric Trump, and it's a great day.
I want to make sure everybody knows that Admiral Kubik was with us from the very beginning. He was back in '16 and is a real warrior. I was so glad some of the Navy senior flag officers were standing up. The Flynn.
Hey everybody, Brick Suit here. I am in a fabulous event for President Trump rally hosted by Turning Point Action. And I know we all love our veterans, but there's a group out there you really check out. It's Veterans for America First. They support all sorts of America First candidates, and they have a veteran focus that I'm sure you're going to like because we love our veterans. President Trump loves our veterans. Give them a look-see.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Fitzgerald. Well, I want to give a shout out to Veterans of America, Veterans First. We need to put more respect on our veterans and not our illegal immigrants. Trump 2024.
Hey folks, it's John Rich here, Veterans for Trump, incredible organization. We love our vets. Without men and women willing to sacrifice and die if necessary for our country, we wouldn't have a country. We all know that. Much respect and much love. God bless you.
Perfect.
Hey, Congressman Mike Collins here. Listen, a big shout out to Veterans for America First, organization out there doing great things, backing candidates and helping our veterans, people who really need your help and deserve all the gratitude. Debt we could never repay them. Thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the hard work.
To all the veterans out there, especially Veterans for America First, we have got to deliver Trump victory. God bless, let's save this country.
Hi, it's House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stefanik, representative for New York's 21st Congressional District. Thank you to Veterans for America First for all your hard work. We know that President Trump strongly supports our veterans, and our veterans must turn out to vote for him. Thank you very much. Let's save America.
Hey, Georgia and Veterans for Donald J. Trump. You are the reason President Trump prioritizes national security because we do not want to send our sons and daughters to fight another man's war anymore. You guys are the reason we are safe and secure in this country, and it's about time we put a commander-in-chief back in office to prioritize our veterans and our armed forces. Vote DJT.
Hey everybody, it's former Congressman Doug Collins, also Colonel, United States Air Force Reserve. For our America First veterans out there, thank you for the service, thank you for the work. We got a lot of work ahead. You keep doing what you're doing, we always got your back.
Hey, Congressman Jim Jordan here. Just want to say thank you for helping Veterans for America First and all the great work they're doing.
And thank you for helping me in my campaign. You were my first endorsement. So too was Chairman Jordan. Let's get out of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is wonderful. And thanks for all you guys do. You're amazing. It's wonderful to be a part of this Veterans for Trump family. So keep staying strong. We have a country to save.
Working overtime, we've got to do our part too. And one of the things I look forward to, and I'm very grateful for, we've got Jared and Stan and Veterans for America First. You know, what they're trying to do is raise awareness and also incentivize and motivate and encourage people to get out and vote, because that's why we're here. That's why we're doing the job we're doing, is to tell people if you go out and vote, you can make a difference in the selection. And I know not one of you wants to wake up on November 6th and go, man, we could have just done a little bit more in Douglas County.
Well, let me just ask before I draw this. Did everybody enjoy the film?
Another person that's not giving up anytime soon. Why? Because Trump announced he's running for presidency is Stan Fitzgerald. Now listen, if you really want to know a patriot and what a patriot look like that puts his money where his mouth at, or at least somebody else's, that actually get behind candidates. When I say America First, that's God, family, country, and Trump. That's everything that we're talking about. Well, this is Stan Fitzgerald.
And thank you so much to Stan Fitzgerald. Where is he? There he is. Thank you so much. You are a great patriot. Thank you both for helping so supporting not only for people like me, President Trump, and for America First and MAGA. So God bless you.
And Stan, where's Stan? Stan is with Veterans for Trump.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you all. We're honored. I know there are so many organizations.
Thank you. We appreciate all the help. Stanley and Donna Fitzgerald.
Right here, sir.
Thank you very much. It's great. It's great that you're with us. Mike Acton.
If you don't know who one of the guys is that's always down there in Mar-a-Lago standing beside President Donald J. Trump, that's Stan Fitzgerald. He is also a big part when it comes to the Veterans for America First, when it comes to veterans issues, veterans matters. He is a very, very gun-ho about that. Not only that, it is getting endorsing the right candidates across the board that believes in the fundamental foundations of our nation, the Constitution, and that is actually grassroots. So it's not this organization isn't like your every ordinary organization, because you got to think about it. If we're out there endorsing candidates, we are endorsing those candidates that are more to what we believe in and align with not only Veterans for America but also the United America First. Period. So everybody, I can't say a lot more about Stan without giggling or at least blushing. So I'm just gonna let y'all talk to Stan the man himself. So everybody, this is Stan Fitzgerald, and if the government owe you money, especially the VA, he could probably write you a check. Go ahead, Dave. Hey, Stan.
Hey, Lucretia, how are you? So I'm not sure how to take that introduction. It sounded almost like you were afraid of me. So we've known each other for 5 years. Come on. So nothing to be afraid of. As far as writing a check, everyone wants to give away everyone else's money in politics, but our national president, Robert Cornicelli, is working on just that with his nonprofit. So we hope to, well, I'm not going to steal his thunders, but he hopes to be making an announcement sometime in the near future about helping veterans in a different way than we have been for the last few years.
Now, with everything that's been going on with the veteran organizations or issues inside the veteran organizations and our veterans, what really made you stand up, get in the forefront, and then try to bring this not only just on the Georgia level, but also on a national level? Because I don't think people know how big the Veterans for America First actually is and what they are accomplishing and what are some of the goals that you want to. So what in your life, that because it's usually a pivotal point to make you stand up for other people and make you really get out there on the front line. So what got you started?
Well, thanks for asking, Lucretia. Right now, I am part of the national leadership team, but I've taken on a new project where you are serving as our communications director in Georgia, and we are blessed to have you. There's a whole new different national leadership team, and they're doing the national. And I'm just prefacing that because you're asking me, at the time, I was the president as a retired law enforcement officer of Veterans for America First as we grew the organization a few years ago. What got me involved was supporting President Trump since 2015 and watching the great things he did for America, for our law enforcement, for our veterans, and just for what got me involved was greatest president in American history. And then in 2020, the election was rigged. We saw the results. We had teams in Georgia looking into the results, and I saw evidence that convinced me, as retired law enforcement, that this was stolen, especially in Georgia. So that is what got me motivated to come out of just having a normal business and a normal life with my wife and step forward and get out on the grassroots front lines and fight for this country. So to answer your question in a long-winded way, it was the rigged election that got us motivated.
Now, when it comes, because you are a part of the police also, and then the veteran side, and bringing those two issues together, or those two different organizations, where you are also looking at the police officers, what they're dealing with, and then also trying to bring that attention to that and bring them more in the fold. But if you look at the military and you look at police officers, y'all like a band of brothers. I don't know if it's because the authority that y'all have, the training that you have to go through, or because y'all are the first responders, and we are going to be the first responders if anything ever happened inside of our nation. So when it comes to that, and I was saying about endorsing candidates, what do you actually look for in a candidate when you endorsing them for either a local race, a state race, or even a national race?
Well, you asked a couple things there or commented on a couple things. Yeah, there's a lot of analogies with law enforcement and military. I served 13 years in Newark, New Jersey. Many of those years were in narcotics. And I had PTS at the time from combat-like situations. And I mean, one of my friends was executed in the courthouse by a drug dealer before metal detectors. And I saw his brains scattered on the wall. And every day we used to go through doors executing warrants, and your life relied on your partners and your coworkers, the other detectives. And from what I understand, it's very similar to combat military. We had a lot of weapons pointed at us. I never had to shoot someone. Came close a couple times, but it's something. Those events from combat situations. It's very hard. It takes years to recover from the PTS. And that's the analogy with the military people. They just do it on a far larger scale and far more trauma they have to deal with. So we've always tried to do things to help law enforcement and veterans with PTS. And we've all had people in our organization volunteer to do that. But to get into what we were doing as an organization when I ran it was politics. And we felt that backing the right candidates would get candidates in office that would protect our law enforcement and veteran and their rights and build laws for them to benefit them and protect our country. So what we looked for it was easy. We just looked for MAGA. If the candidates at any level were MAGA, then they put the country first. So our biggest problem or our hardest obstacle was weeding out the pretenders because, as you see here in Georgia, Trump won. Everyone's a MAGA guy. A couple of years ago, that was not the case, and even after the president was indicted the first time, at that time we were going to Mar-a-Lago a lot, and I was in Bedminster, I think, 2 days after his house was raided by the FBI, and a lot of people jumped ship. A lot of these people just thought he was over. Everyone, a lot of people ran to DeSantis. But our organization, which at the time had about 300,000 people in the country, we stuck with the president. We speak for millions of people, but they're not all part of the organization. But that's our influence. It was up to about 300,000 at the time, and we've always promoted a secure country under President Trump's administration.
Now,
So we're happy that.
speaking about the secure country, we got to talk about the border because you've done documentaries, you've backed documentaries, you've been down to the southern border, you've actually witnessed and saw a lot of things that was being denied on television. And I think that's why you said one of the reasons why you did a documentary, because you really wanted to go down there and witness it yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about the documentaries that you have done and what compelled you to really get in that fight and with the Border Patrol, really back in the Border Patrol, and give us some of the stuff that you actually saw with your own eyes down there at the southern border?
Well, I've personally been to the border twice. The first time I went to the border, one of the things that stands out is we were down there standing right with Tom Homan. He was part of our tour, for lack of a better term. And we're standing next to the river and we're watching the illegals come over in rafts right in front of Tom Homan and the Border Patrol, FOP, the Border Patrol president, I forget his name. But they broad daylight crossings,
Wow.
flowing over. And then we went back a year or two later to a different part of the border with retired supervisory agent Victor Avila, who's an American hero. He was shot and left for dead in Mexico by the cartel. Congress changed laws because of what happened to him to hold people accountable in other countries. You can look that up, your viewers. It's a very interesting story, and the guy's amazing. So Victor taught us a lot at the border, and what we saw was boatloads, literally people, like floods of people coming across an Eagle Pass, and the Border Patrol, even with the barbed wire there, just let them through. And that was their orders from the Biden administration. So in the last couple of years, our country's been flooded by millions of people. And don't misunderstand this, that they vote, and it's very easy for them to get a driver's license. And I mean, I recently just read, I don't know if this is a fact, but they're trying to give voting rights to homeless people in Georgia. Well, millions of homeless people are going to come and vote, and a lot of them are going to be illegals.
Well,
That really
technically,
were
they was
never part of.
allowing a lot of those homeless people to actually vote in the election in Georgia because they found in one house or halfway house there was thousands and thousands of people names just on this one address where they was getting their voter registration and everything. So we know there's problem in Georgia, and for them to say they haven't closed that loophole, well, they haven't, because like you said, they're getting licenses. So how do we know that they're not actually voting out there in our local or state or federal elections?
Well, it's very easy. The government's going to lie to us. They're going to downplay everything. The media, the legacy media, is going to downplay it. Although towards the end they started being a little more honest. But the solution is paper ballots, voter ID. Will we ever get there? I don't know. But the open borders haven't helped. And if we don't fix this and reverse what the left has done, we're going to be California, the whole country. It's just going to be California.
Can you tell us just a little bit of what you want to see playing, at least the first 100 days or maybe the first year of President Trump getting back in office?
Well, there was a few things in his announcements, and I'm not someone who follows the news, so forgive me if I'm not up to speed on everything. But um, from our organizational point of view, he did say he would help solve the homeless veterans problems. And I got a text from your friend Rebecca Yardley the night of the election with an op-ed that Doug Collins wrote about he's voting for the guy who's going to solve the homeless problem. So when President Trump says he's going to do something like that, he's even if he doesn't have the votes, that's probably something he's going to do by executive order. So I'm pretty sure the president won't let us down with that, taking care of our homeless veterans.
Okay.
And obviously, the other thing that we've worked very hard for as an organization, and that was our second film, by the way, we did two others, but the border invasion film was something we did to bring awareness about the border crisis and the damage it was doing. And a lot of people said we were nuts at the time, and then obviously it's not. But the president and with Tom Homan's guidance, will secure the border, and it's going to take a lot of years to get these people out of here and reverse the damage. But that's a priority.
Now, if someone wanting to join Veterans for America First, or actually go to the website because it's a new revamped website, can you give them a little bit more information of what they can find on the website, how they can get over there to the website, and if they want to join the actual organization, what do they need to do to join?
Well, Lucretia, everybody's invited to get involved with Veterans for America First. You don't have to be a veteran. If you are a veteran, we will use you in not use you, but your volunteership will be used in a way to serve veterans more visibly. But there's roles for everybody, for civilians and for law enforcement, attorneys, influencers. And to join us, just go ahead on to Veterans for America First website, which is vfaf.us. That's vfaf.us. And there's a form on there to volunteer. And our national communications director with our president is working on a plan to start organizing these volunteers. I think we had about 500 come in since the election, and we've basically just been focused on the election, but now we won, it's over. So we're going to get to all the people who've put their name in and contact them and go forward and get these people working across the country to help save America, because our work has only just begun.
I think that it's gonna be a lot of working, but at least we have someone that's friendly, that's gonna be over the Veterans Affairs Department. That's Doug Collins, Georgia boy. I call him because we have that. So I'm seeing within the next 4 years, even Democrats should not have any problems with trying to solve a lot of the stuff when it comes to the VA or the veterans or Veterans Affairs. And also, well, they're gonna have some problems with the border. Okay, they're gonna have some problems with Tom Homan and the rest of the Border Patrol, and they're gonna have some problems because we want to secure the border. So we know that they don't want to secure the border, and they do want open borders. How in the world is the military that's supposed to be upholding the oath and protecting our border? How are they not stepping in at this point if they seeing that our flag is completely blacked out now?
Well, we're talking about the National Guard, not the U.S. military, but that is up to the governors in each state to call them in. And plus, I'm not former military, so I think that's a question next time you have your friend Lieutenant Colonel Bernie Flowers on, or President Captain Robert Cornicelli, ask one of them about the policies with the military and securing our border. I don't think by law they can, but again, I'm not a military guy.
That's the case.
Well, I'm going to ask you about what's going on in New York, and you saying that you used to be a police officer in New Jersey, which is a hop, skip, and a jump. Well, today
That's right.
somebody was pushed physically in front of a subway as it was coming and pulling into the station. Somebody was pushed in front of a speeding subway train. We saw somebody was, set on fire yesterday. Another person was slashed, and then the woman that they finally ID'd today. What does it take for an officer to not stand down when he sees that he could save someone's life, or is there jeopardy of actually losing their jobs?
Well, that is what's going on. I mean, I served before a lot of your viewers were born, probably in 1986 to 1999 in Newark. But, that was through the Rodney King era, where the police brutalized that young man and paid the price and created all kinds of dissension across the country with the police. But we had plenty of issues that were created by the Democrats or just by people who didn't like police that were not real, and it created a situation where people were afraid to do their job. They didn't want to get sued. They didn't want to get arrested. Now, fast forward to 2024, and it's gotten 1,000 times worse.
Yes.
You can't expect police, and you're getting rid of cops by attrition in Democrat cities. So you got no backup. There's not enough manpower. You're overworked, and then left and right, you're seeing people get sued or indicted for doing their job, and it happened to the Border Patrol agent I know as well. So this
Do you
is just
think
crazy.
what happened to Daniel Penning, where he tried to step in on the subway and help other people, him being indicted, going to court, having his whole life destroyed just by trying to save innocent subway riders? You think that's why people aren't stepping in and being protectors anymore? And what do you see about the guardian angels? No, that's not what they call themselves. Yeah, the angels that are coming back in New York and supposed to be patrolling the subways now, since the cops don't want to do it anymore. What do you see about giving them a little jurisdiction?
Well, there's a fine line with the training that these people would not have, or the authority. But to back up to your first point, yes, what happened to Daniel Perry is going to, deter other people from getting involved. Police. If there was a police officer sitting on the subway, he probably would have stood up and tried to save lives or prevent crime. It's just wired into your system from your training and from your job. But the average person sitting there, they're not going to get up. And you mentioned someone being burned coming up the escalator. That was the second time someone was burned. There was someone burned to death a couple of weeks before that, or a week before that, and the people on the train did nothing because they were afraid of being arrested.
And they were saying that there was actually police. No, you're right. They were saying that there was actually police standing a little bit off, actually watching all this to happen, especially when he was fanning that woman in the subway doors. That is just horrific. Now tonight, I know you itching to be in New York City at the ball drop so you can be helping monitor all the crowds. I mean, what do you feel? I wouldn't want to be in a crowd that huge in New York City whatsoever. Not tonight. Not after knowing they don't have any security anymore.
It's not worth the risk.
That's actually a very good point you're bringing up, and very true. I'm sure New York City is going to bring in the National Guard and all kinds of other agencies to help protect the crowd. But, who wants to be out there with all these potentially illegal aliens that, they're going to go through metal detectors and everything. God only knows what they're capable of doing if they want to attack. Why put yourself in that risk? And I hate to be someone who even talks like that, because you're supposed to feel safe in your country and safe going to events. And you should feel safe. But as you pointed out, in New York City, I wouldn't go because I wouldn't feel safe there based on the way it's been devolving.
And see, Todd said he remembered the days of the guardian angels. And I just wanted to ever know what happened to them and why they just left out of New York, and no one really saw the guys in the fedoras much after what in the 90s and 2000s, and now they're wanting to come back and start patrolling the streets again. Do you see them linking up with NYPD just to see if this can happen, since they don't have enough men on the beat at it anymore?
Well, I know the answer people want to hear is that, we should work with groups like that. Law enforcement should do that. But I'm just going to be honest here. No, I don't think that should happen because there's no guarantee these people have any kind of training, and you're opening yourselves up if you try to do this to all kinds of lawsuits or criminal charges for being uh, trying to be a guardian angel, because they're going to label you a vigilante. You're not going to be a guardian. And the first mistake you make, you're not going to have the protections that a police officer makes. If we arrested somebody and there was a shooting because we feared for our lives, they took officers at their words that time. And hey, I mean, that crazy nut from Jersey, from my home state, Springsteen, made a song out of it. The multiple shots that were killed the person who ended up being innocent, but that's not what the officers saw. The officers saw a man making an furtive movement, reaching for what they thought was a weapon. So they were protecting themselves. Now, if you're a guardian angel, you're not going to have those same protections because you don't have the training or the authority to do what you're doing. So I would strongly caution against joining these type of groups. I think what you should do is motivate people to join the police force. Go to your politicians and get them to beef up police forces. And personally, I mean, I don't even think there's anything wrong if you need help to do things like calling the National Guard or call surrounding jurisdictions for help. But to get civilians to do law enforcement, I'm just being honest, it's a very bad idea.
Well, I know Miriam Bowser and I guess the Washington Police Department, they had a meeting today with the inauguration team. They said they are ready this time around. I just don't feel like it is. I feel like Trump need to have his own security 24/7 there, and I don't feel like that he need to depend on a National Guard or Miriam Bowser after what happened the last time around. Can he get? Can he hire some veterans to actually? Then that would be a whole nother thing. They're not actually, trained to do that. I'm just trying to figure out, with at least I would say 500,000 people, if not more, going to Washington D.C. That's going to be there for the inauguration. How are they going to be able to protect those people too? And do you think a peaceful transition of power is actually going to happen this time around?
Well, I'm not psychic, but I sure hope so. And I think that the country is not going to tolerate another assassination attempt, especially with the monkey business like we saw on the others that we know about. But you did mention peaceful transition of power and the Democrats trying to block that now. I mean, didn't they arrest people across the country, Republicans that stood on constitutional uh, precedent and sent electoral voters in to legally, peacefully challenge through the court system the election? I mean, we did it the right way based on constitutional law, and these people
Were
or friends of
indicted.
mine,
It wasn't.
friends of mine.
How they gonna indict Miss Susie? What did Miss Susie? Are you even David Schaefer of what the indictments that Fannie Willis in Fulton County decided there was electors. There was electors. So for them to be indicted doing their constitutional duty was, I've never understood that. But then to indict them for questioning an election or election interference, when the Democrats do this on a regular every
Right.
election basis and have already started again, where do you see
You,
going with
you
that?
you raised a valid point. That's where I was going. I mean, the Democrats did it in 2016. They challenged it. No one got arrested. We challenged it based on laws and did it the right way through the procedures, and they locked people up. Now you got the Democrats that are just trying to block it, like lay down in the aisle and try to stop them from walking. I mean, didn't the politicians make a stunt out of that the last time Trump was in office? I mean,
Oh, you're talking about Nancy Pelosi and them.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's have equal justice in this country, right? I mean, if you're going to charge Republicans over things where it seems like we did it the right way, then these Democrats who are sort of doing the same exact thing and not doing it the right way, they need to be indicted. It's not lawfare. It's called equal justice.
Well, that's what Chris Carr right now. Before I was looking for articles, and I knew he was coming on. And one thing is you were talking about with Debbie Dooley and everybody on the actual spaces. And y'all can tune in on the spaces every Monday and Thursday. One is with Debbie, and the other one is Robert. And one of the things she was really talking about, and Christy also, is the Fannie Willis situation. Well, Chris Carr is blocking her appeal, which is the Attorney General for the state of Georgia. So she wrote, there's an article on MSN right now, and she's pretty much calling him a racist and everything else. But why we always got to be racist?
That's what they do.
I mean,
they get you to sit down and shut up.
She disqualified her own self. How she not take accountability for that? And how is she getting? You ought to go read the article. If I was Chris Carr, and I appreciate his PR person who put out the statement. People are tired of Fannie Mae Willis. She put her own self in that predicament to be disqualified, and she just needs to let it go and just let it go. But as you hear, Alvin Braggs and Fannie Willis and someone else, it's Jack Smith case, they're wanting to hold it out until 2029.
Well, you're talking about what in theory
all
is
the
almost
indictments.
Right, a sealed indictment. Once an indictment is made, it takes away the statute of limitations. So yeah, you could make an indictment, keep it under seal, and then bring it out whenever you want. That circumvents the statute of limitations. So I think that's what they're probably thinking they're going to do. But you have Kash Patel and Pam Bondi coming in, and if a lot of people talk about how you can't pardon a state crime. In the New York case you mentioned is a state crime, so the president can't use his power to end that, even though it should be ended. But what you can do, and this is just my thought and my suggestion, and I didn't hear they were going to do this, well, you could investigate the prosecutors in New York that brought the charges, and if you could show that they were not justified for bringing those, if they did legal gymnastics to create crime that didn't exist, you should lock them up.
And you're talking about the Alvin Braggs case? Because remember, one of the prosecutors used to work for the DOJ, quit the DOJ, started working for the New York City DA office just to get President Trump, because even Cuomo and the rest of them was like, no, there's nothing there. He paid his loans back. He did all this. So the guy from the Justice Department stepped down from his position to be hired on in the New York City's what is that, DA's office. And so you can pinpoint it like that, or you can look at Nathan Wade and Fannie Willis going up there to talk to Maverick Garland and also Jack Smith. That's lawfare too.
Yeah.
Right, and if you tie it to the White House, now you're tying it to federal. So there's a way into this through the incoming DOJ to investigate it either way. So there is some hope that we could take care of this the right way with a full investigation and point out what was done wrong and charge those who did so intentionally, and that would make it go away.
So since she was a cop in New Jersey, I do know that Hunter Biden did get in trouble in New Jersey, and that's not a federal case. It was a state case. Does that mean he's not pardoned?
Who are you talking about?
Hunter Biden.
Oh, Hunter. Look, I mean, the president pardoned him for pretty much everything, but if there's a state case, they could bring it. But New Jersey's a blue state. They're not going to charge a former First Family Democrat. They're just not going to. And I think the only reason Hunter was even charged was because the public just couldn't believe the lack of equal justice in this country. And they charged him knowing the father would pardon him anyway. So, hey, look, I'm just getting into theories here. But no, a president cannot pardon a state crime. But I cannot see the state of New Jersey being as blue as it is ever doing anything, if there is any type of crime that was committed in New Jersey.
Now, back to the border, and you said you had two more documentaries after the border invasion, have you thought about doing a marathon so everyone can see each of the documentaries back to back to back? So is it all going to be on the website of Veterans for America First.org? .com? So
.com.
all the
VFAF.us. So to answer your
I messed
question,
that all up.
our latest film is VFAF Veterans for Trump the Movement, and that covers the history of our organization and motivated veterans across the country to organize and get the vote out for the president, and that's free. It's on YouTube now. It's also on our state chapter websites, and I'll get it on to the VFAF.us. But we want that to be free because it's very important to see why veterans should get involved with politics and why we need to support America first. Because
Oh,
veterans and police officers, you're natural born leaders. So we need you out there to organize and rally the base and bring them into the America First movement.
that,
Now, our first film was called The Fall of Deceit.
okay.
And we were just producers on that. We don't own it, so I can't offer it for free. But you can get it on Amazon or eBay. And that was about the wrongful convictions. And why I got into that was because I went through that with the federal government 30 years ago. So that was another reason why I came forward and got into Saving America was because I saw what they did to Trump, and it reminded me of what happened 30 years ago. So we put that film out. And it was very impactful for pushing back against that corruption in the DOJ. Now, the other film that you've been talking about, Border Invasion, An American Crisis, how about I could give that to you and you could play it on your network and do whatever you like with it. How's that sound?
Absolutely, we'll have a party in the USA. I don't know why
There you
that popped
go.
out of my mouth, but it
So,
did.
so Border Invasion, you can watch that on Lucretia's platform. We're going to get it over to her.
So we will be having that one more time because I'm tearing this up. It is VFAF.us.
That's correct. So please go on our website at vfaf.us and you can sign up to volunteer there.
One more thing, Robert Cortinelli.
So President Robert Cornicelli. So you're
Shut up,
laughing, but
Dave.
you and I both had you had on the guy from the Border Patrol. I had trouble with his name too. But Robert Cornicelli, he is the captain in the Navy and also served in the Army. He is a veteran, and he's a fully disabled veteran, and he is the current president of our organization. And he's doing a fantastic job with the political side. He's working on getting some bills passed. You're going to meet us here in January 7th, I think it is, Lucretia, with your team when we start this process in Georgia. And, he's also got a nonprofit called the Veteran Recovery Coalition. And I understand he's going to be making some big news with that sometime soon after the New Year's. So I'm sure you want to have him on your show again after that.
Absolutely. And plus, when we go down to see, be at the Under the Gold Dome with Steve Gooch and what he is really what he's getting ready to do for Veterans for America First, and him even teaming up with Veterans for America First. Way to go, Steve! Or I call him Gooch. So way to go, Steve Gooch.
I personally, I know a lot of the legislators, but I don't know Steve. Now, I know our deputy political director, Kartik Bhatt, arranged that because Kartik has been like the bridge of unity in Georgia. There's not one person I ever met that doesn't like Kartik. So he's if you don't know him, he was one of the national reps for Indians for Trump. And he was also in the Trump campaign Hindu Coalition. He's an honorary sheriff's deputy with Cobb County. And he also works with the governor and a lot of people that would be instrumental in signing a bill to help protect law enforcement. So I think Kartik was the perfect lead to set this up for President Cornicelli to bring into Georgia.
So everybody, because I'm gonna give you the last 2 minutes, and then Dave, just I can see you across the room. I'm gonna give you the last 2 minutes, saying please just reiterate where everybody can find you. Find Veterans for America First, and then let them know some of the big things that are coming up, and especially with Karma. And we got Tig Tigler, we got a whole grandma over there, everybody on D Live and also X that are talking, and then also Rumble. They want to say thank you for your service first, And then thank you for what you're doing for servicemen and women across the board.
awesome.
So Veterans for America First. So you go ahead, Stan, and I'm gonna let you close this out.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank Lucretia and everybody like Lucretia who's gotten into this fight, because you make yourself a target. You get trolled, you get attacked. Some of us face legal accusations, like the president, for just doing the right thing. And it was a lot that you and so many other people stood up and helped President Trump get elected. I'm sure none of you will be forgotten. And our organization, and I'm sure that the Trump administration appreciates everybody that got involved. And that's what's most important. And instead of talking about myself or our organization, let's just remind everybody as we close that we did our job getting President Trump elected, and he's got a unified government. They're going to do a lot at the federal level, but each of you across the country in every state, we got a state to save and a country to save, at the state level, and more work at the federal level. So the saving America needs your help. But please get involved with your GOPs, learn on shows like Lucretia's, and volunteer at grassroots organizations like ours. But get involved, because if you just sit back and just watch the president do these amazing things he's going to do these next 2 years, before you know it, in 2 years, we could lose one of these majorities. We could lose the Senate or we could lose the House. You got to keep fighting. It doesn't end just because we won. So please get involved, support people like Lucretia, go on our website and donate, buy her merchandise, and do what you can to get involved. We'd love to have you join us. But if not, at least go out and get involved with your GOPs and see how you could help.
Thank you so much, Stan. It won't be the last time, and next time I won't be so nervous and trying to impress. Never mind. I was trying to be professional. It didn't even
Well,
work.
you got to be yourself. That's what you and I talk about all the time. Let Lucretia be Lucretia.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You have someone boring like me on who likes to be professional. You got to be yourself. So don't ever change. You're doing great.
So again, everybody, y'all get over there to VFAF.us. All right,
That's
then.
correct.
And y'all go
And-
find out more. Go ahead.
And thank you, Lucretia. I'll see you after the New Year's holiday down at the Gold Dome.
Absolutely.
And Happy New Year's to everybody, including the psychopath trolls that spend full time with 15 fake accounts going after me for God knows what. If you people would just take some time and focus that energy towards helping the country, you would actually be productive.
Thank you so much. Dave, did you cut him off?
I did not.
Did he? Oh, Dave. That was when you don't pay for Zoom. So everybody, what we
That was Zoom. That was Zoom. That was Stan. That was not me.
y'all gonna leave Mike alone. One, don't think I didn't side eye half y'all comments. I was looking. Mike is tired. He went to the dentist today and got jacked up.
Yeah.
So what we're planning on doing, we coming back at 9 o'clock, but I need to go in there and cut some cheese. I need to go in there and cook my meat for my rotel, okay? I need to go ahead and make some bubbly and everything. And then we just gonna give Mike at least, is that okay? 2 hours of just chilling out. You gonna make it all night?
I should be able to.
Okay, we good. I can make you a hot toddy.
I should be able to. I should
Okay.
be all right. I'll probably stay here tonight.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Get up and go home first thing in the morning.
Okay.
So I go to work.
You got this. You got cat fur everywhere. So on that note, everybody, we're gonna be back at 9 o'clock. Why? Because I want to get up. Ain't no way I'm gonna be able to sit here for that long. So if you're coming back, we will be back on at 9. We're going through all the platforms. We're gonna have fun. And if we get kicked off of Facebook, it's because Dave played a song that he wasn't supposed to play.
Well, no, obviously at a certain point we're going to have to cut
Why
off
we
Facebook.
gotta cut off Facebook? Let's just try it. I mean, they already hate me.
You know what's going to happen. Then we're not going to be back on Facebook for a week or a month.
Anyway, we'll see y'all back here at 9 o'clock. So y'all get your bubbly, go get your liquor, go and get your chips and the dips and just go get something, and we'll be. Did I say share, donate? We'll do all that in about 2-3 hours. So we'll see y'all at 9 o'clock. Happy New Year to everybody that's going out there and celebrating and partying. Please do not drive drunk. Please get a designated driver. I'm just saying, and not because nobody's telling me. Please don't drive drunk.
Yeah,
and if
cops
you
were out
enjoying
already when I
yourself,
was on my way over here.
Keep your head
78
on
was
the.
loaded.
Yeah, if you're on 78, and listen, if you get pulled over by State Patrol, you gonna get a ticket.
That's who was out. There was State Patrol and a local.
State
sheriff.
Patrol is already all up and down 78. Y'all be safe out there. So everybody else, we'll see y'all at 9. We're gonna bring in the New Year's like we always do, with friends and family and food and laughter and music and donating. Go on, Dave.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Fitzgerald. Well, I want to give a shout out to Veterans of America, Veterans First. We need to put more respect on our veterans and not our illegal immigrants.
Hey folks, it's John Rich here, Veterans for Trump, incredible organization. We love our vets. Without men and women willing to sacrifice and die if necessary for our country, we wouldn't have a country. And we all know that. Much respect and much love. God bless you.
Here we go. She's on 5 to 7, 9 to 10 p.m. Fallback Productions. Talks about topics of the day and loves her country, the U.S. of A. Got her Get Right rally on tax day. Got family country Trump is her thing. She don't know the songs, gives Dave a hard time. Don't worry, it's fine. He's still her Valentine. Keeps us in the loop. Don't you know, sit back and enjoy the Lucretia Hughes show.